Welcome back, horror fans, to my review of Talk to Me, a little horror film that has been making waves since all the way back at the Sundance Film Festival in January, directed by the brotherly duo of RakaRaka, telling the story of a group of friends that discovers how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand, and so they become hooked on a new thrill. That is until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. And I will tell you right now, going into this film, I really did not know what to make of this. I had genuinely never heard of RakaRaka at all in my life, and I just wasn't too much into the trailer for this film. And now these guys are directing a Street Fighter movie. Again, something I had no idea was happening, and they just spotted this out in the Q&A after watching the film. Because going into Talk to Me, what you see is all the tropes, all the layout of a typical spirits horror film, and all the conventions that come with it. And this is not, in that sense, the most inventive film that adds a ton to the premise and what that premise can bring to a film. But these guys do the most with all the tools they have at their disposal. This is one of the most intense, gnarly, and genuinely upsetting horror films I have seen in a while. Structurally, it has all the expected tools of the trade from a possession horror film, but it is how these guys intensify the set pieces and elevate the material off the page. They do an excellent job with every single moment in this film to where you remember it is ingrained in your mind how violent it is, how nasty it is, and I just love the mean-spiritedness that it adds to everything, not only to the story, not only to the main beats, but to the characters themselves. They're all teenagers. They all have this interesting dynamic going on between the group where not everyone really gets along, and there are older kids and younger kids that want to feel cool and be added into the pack, but they're not necessarily welcome. And so that creates interesting conflict, that creates compelling dynamics amongst these characters and natural friction that as you go along in this film and as they get kind of addicted to this embalmed hand, to what it offers to them, almost like a sort of drug. And as you find out more and more about this curse, more and more about what they're truly accessing or what they're giving access to, it becomes more and more unsettling as it goes on. Some of the sequences in this film are truly violent and upsetting. And because it is such a small film, because it is such a limited budget, they were able to do so much with a ton of practical effects. And if you know me, you know I have nothing against using CGI effects over practical or vice versa. But in horror specifically, practical adds a ton more viscerality to the nastiness going on screen. It's the way these guys direct a film that truly elevates what is a solid but familiar script when it comes to this subgenre of horror. It is also a very lean movie, running in 95 minutes. Once it starts, it's going. The story is already happening and it's immediately violent and nasty. And because they choose to start this film in the way they do, there's an added spice of mystery revolving this embalmed hand. But it's the way Danny and Michael Phillipou, the directors of the film, the RakaRaka guys, choose to unravel this mystery that makes it all so interesting. What I will say, however, is that, again, despite a bit of familiarity on the surface, there are questionable choices made by the characters. And while you understand that they're not always thinking straight, they are teenagers, so there's an inherent stupidity or rather ignorance that comes with these things, and it can get to the point where some of these characters really begin to grate on you. They start to test your patience when it comes to you rooting for them. Yes, there's that amount of ignorance, there's that amount of teenage naivete, but some of them begin to feel too inactive in the story. And when you have a main character that is just so grating, there's something compelling about that up to a point. And despite a magnificent performance by Sophie Wilde, it's just a character that I don't know up until what point you can back her. And the filmmakers are aware of that. There's a certain self awareness that they don't excuse her behavior, but it makes it always interesting to watch as it unravels. But I actually love that the RakaRaka guys did not shy away from having these sort of characters in their film. I love that they're so mean-spirited with their story, and that's one of the best aspects of this film. So it's not perfect, but it is genuinely gruesome, fearlessly intense, and a real testament to their directorial prowess, where they didn't have the best script in the world, but they managed to put it all in their direction and elevate the material, elevate the performances, elevate the scares, and really make a mark in the horror genre. So as I dive into my final thoughts on Talk to Me, I'm curious to your thoughts on it. Did you hear about RakaRaka? What's your favorite video of them? And are you excited for Talk to Me? Anything and everything down there in the comments below. Also, let me know if you're excited for the Street Fighter movie directed by them. And if you just want to talk more movies and TV, this is the place to be. Consider clicking that subscribe button, and you won't miss any future conversations on your favorite movies and TV. While it may not have the most imaginative story or characters, how much Talk to Me accomplishes with impactful soundscape and gnarly practical effects is as admirable as the experience is frightening. A directorial debut filled with energy and a welcome burst of intense nastiness and carnage candy. I'm giving Talk to Me a B. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to start the conversation in the comments below with your thoughts or excitement for Talk to Me, your favorite RakaRaka video, and of course, a big shout out to my channel members for always supporting the channel. I'll be back very soon with more videos, so until the next one, love each other and love the movies.